The Vrel ships descended through Earth's atmosphere with clinical precision. Their silver hulls reflected the morning sunlight as they positioned themselves above major cities worldwide. Humanity watched in horror as the alien vessels hovered menacingly overhead, their intentions yet unknown. In Denver, Dr. Anna Thompson rushed through the pediatric oncology ward, her white coat billowing behind her. Alarms blared throughout Memorial Children's Hospital as staff implemented emergency protocols. Through the large windows, she could see one of the alien vessels positioning itself directly above their building. "Move everyone to the basement shelter," she ordered the head nurse, Tom. "We have 15 minutes to evacuate all patients." Tom nodded grimly. The most critical patients are already being moved. Anna's mind raced as she hurried to help transfer young patients. Most were frightened, some too sick to fully comprehend what was happening. 8-year-old Jack, battling leukemia, clutched his favorite robot toy as an orderly wheeled his bed toward the elevator. "Are the aliens bad guys, Dr. Anna?" he asked, eyes wide with equal parts fear and fascination. Before she could answer, the building shook violently. The Vrel had begun their attack. No one understood why they targeted hospitals first. The destruction was methodical, precise, and made absolutely no strategic sense. Later, military analysts would determine it was a calculated psychological tactic. Strike where it would hurt humanity's spirit the most. What the Vrel couldn't have anticipated was how humanity would respond. When the first energy beam sliced through the hospital's east wing, Anna and Tom had just moved the last children into the reinforced basement. The building groaned above them as sections began to collapse. Through a small basement window, Anna glimpsed the chaos outside, emergency vehicles arriving, civilians running, and the military attempting a futile defense against the technologically superior attackers. Then something unexpected happened. A construction worker named Mike Ellis, who had been operating a crane at a site across the street, swung his massive machine toward the alien craft. The wrecking ball slammed into the underside of the Vrel ship with surprising effect, sending it listing to one side. The aliens, confident in their technological superiority, had neglected to activate their shields for what they considered a simple culling operation. Inspired by Mike's action, others joined in. Firefighters aimed their high-pressure hoses at the ship's propulsion vents. Local police officers fired service weapons at what appeared to be sensor arrays. A bus driver named Lisa rammed her empty vehicle into a landing strut that had extended from the craft. These were not coordinated military tactics. This was raw human instinct: protect the vulnerable at all costs. Inside the basement shelter, Anna and the hospital staff worked desperately to keep their young patients alive as the building continued to collapse above them. Power had failed, and they relied on emergency generators to run crucial medical equipment. Through it all, Anna noticed something remarkable. The older children were comforting the younger ones, sharing stories and distractions despite their own fear. Little Jack, his face pale from his illness, sat up in his bed and announced, "The aliens picked the wrong planet." The battle above lasted hours. What began as spontaneous resistance evolved into coordinated defense as military forces arrived. The Vrel, encountering unexpected resistance, called for reinforcements. But by then, similar scenarios were playing out globally. In every city, ordinary people were fighting back with extraordinary courage, buying time for organized military responses. 3 days later, Anna emerged from the rubble with Tom and 2 paramedics, carrying Jack on a stretcher. The hospital was gone, but they had managed to keep every child alive in the basement shelter through a combination of medical skill, improvisation, and sheer determination. The Denver skyline was transformed, buildings damaged, smoke rising from multiple locations. But the Vrel ship was gone, having retreated to orbit where a massive battle now raged between the alien fleet and hastily assembled Earth forces. A military officer met them at the evacuation point. "Dr. Thompson," he said, recognizing her from the hospital staff directory. "What you and your team did, it's remarkable." Anna looked back at the line of children and staff emerging from the ruins. "We did what anyone would do." "Not anyone," the officer replied. "The aliens intercepted some of our communications. They know what happened here and at other hospitals around the world. They're confused. 1 week after the initial attack, the Vrel sent their first communication. Their translator struggled with human languages, but the message was clear enough. They requested to negotiate. The species had expected humanity to surrender quickly, to prioritize self-preservation over the protection of their weakest members. The concept of sacrificing oneself for children, especially unrelated children, was utterly foreign to their evolutionary psychology. The Vrel commander, in his message to Earth's United Defense Council, expressed particular confusion about the construction worker with the crane. He had clear escape path. The translation read, "Why die for offspring not his own?" 6 months later, Anna sat with Jack in the new treatment facility built where the children's hospital once stood. His cancer was in remission, and he proudly showed her his drawings of humans and Vrel standing together. "They're learning," he said simply. Anna nodded. The Vrel withdrawal had been followed by cautious diplomatic overtures. Their society, it turned out, had never developed the concept of altruism beyond immediate kin. The human willingness to die protecting unrelated children had shattered their understanding of intelligent species behavior. Now, Vrel scientists and sociologists studied human compassion with the same intensity they once devoted to weapons technology. Outside the window, a small Vrel delegation toured the hospital reconstruction site, escorted by human diplomats. One alien observer stopped to watch a human mother comforting someone else's crying child. The universe had expected humanity to be conquered. Instead, humanity taught the stars about compassion.